Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into an exciting topic, foreign exchange and trade. We'll explore how currency markets impact international trade, influence pricing and payments, and shape business strategies on a global scale. I'm looking forward to unpacking these connections with you. Let's get started. Foreign exchange plays a crucial role in global trade by enabling the conversion between different currencies. This conversion is essential not only for importing and exporting goods, but also for making international investments. The exchange rates we see directly influence how much businesses pay suppliers and charge customers, which in turn affects the overall pricing of goods. Moreover, these rates impact a company's competitiveness on the world stage, making it vital for businesses to stay informed about currency fluctuations to succeed globally. This visual of the Ethereum coin, Visa card, memory card, and cash inside a wallet symbolizes the diverse forms of currency and payment methods involved in international transactions. On this slide, we're diving into the basics of how exchange rates are quoted and what drives their movements. Exchange rates are always expressed with a base currency and a quote currency. For example, USD/Euro means how much euro you get for $1. The rates you see come with two prices: the bid price, which is what buyers are willing to pay, and the ask price, which is what sellers are asking for. When we talk about currency appreciation, we mean that a currency's value is increasing compared to another currency. Depreciation is the opposite, when a currency loses value relative to another. Several key factors influence these movements. Interest rates play a major role because higher rates can attract foreign investment, boosting the currency. Inflation levels affect purchasing power, which can lead to adjustments in exchange rates as well. Trade flows, or the balance of imports and exports, also matter because they determine demand for different currencies. Market sentiment, which is how traders feel about economic conditions, and geopolitical risks, such as political instability or conflicts, can quickly shift exchange rates too. Understanding these fundamentals helps us make sense of the often volatile currency markets and anticipate how different events might impact exchange rates. Here we're looking at how changes in the home currency impact both importers and exporters. Starting with a stronger home currency, importers benefit because they can buy goods from abroad at lower prices thanks to increased purchasing power. However, exporters face challenges since their products become less competitive in foreign markets, potentially reducing their sales. On the other hand, when the home currency weakens, exporters gain an advantage because their goods become relatively cheaper for overseas buyers, boosting demand. At the same time, importers face higher costs as foreign inputs and purchases become more expensive. This balance between importers and exporters is crucial for understanding trade dynamics and making informed business decisions. Here, we're looking at how trade flows impact a country's currency demand, which is a crucial part of the balance of payments. When a country has a trade surplus, meaning its exports exceed its imports, there's increased demand for its currency because foreign buyers need that currency to pay for the goods. On the other hand, a trade deficit reduces this demand since the country is buying more from abroad, increasing the supply of its currency on the market. It's important to note that goods exports and imports directly influence this balance. Additionally, capital flows, such as investments coming into or going out of the country, play a key role. They can either counterbalance or amplify the currency pressures caused by trade imbalances. The image of the cargo ships and port activity visually underscores the significance of maritime trade in these flows. Here, we're focusing on the key risks involved in cross-border transactions. First, transaction risk occurs because of the timing differences in contracts and fluctuations in foreign exchange rates, which can directly affect the value of a transaction. Then, we have translation risk, which is related to changes in currency values impacting financial reporting and consolidated statements for businesses operating internationally. Lastly, economic risk refers to longer-term shifts in competitiveness that can influence business performance across different markets. Understanding these risks is crucial for managing international operations effectively and safeguarding financial outcomes. Now, let's talk about hedging currency exposure and explore three main tools businesses use. First, we have forwards. These are contracts that lock in exchange rates to help stabilize costs or revenues. They're particularly useful when a company wants certainty about future payments or receipts, removing the unpredictability of currency fluctuations. Next, options provide flexible contracts that give the right, but not the obligation, to exchange at a set rate. This means you get protection from adverse movements while still being able to benefit if the market moves in your favor. Options are perfect when maintaining flexibility is important. Lastly, swaps and natural hedges are strategies to manage exposure over time. Swaps involve exchanging currencies periodically, while natural hedges align a company's costs and revenues in the same currency, reducing risk without needing extra contracts. Together, these tools offer a solid framework for managing currency risk effectively. Here we have an overview of key trade finance and international payment methods, which are crucial in managing risks and ensuring smooth transactions in global trade. Starting with letters of credit, this method provides a high level of security because the buyer's bank guarantees payment to the seller as long as the agreed documents are presented. Next, documentary collections involve the seller's bank collecting payment from the buyer in exchange for shipping documents. This offers moderate security and gives both parties some control during the transaction. Then, we have open account terms, where the seller ships the goods and invoices the buyer, who pays later. This approach depends heavily on mutual trust and is typically used when relationships are well established. Finally, advance payment requires the buyer to pay the seller upfront before shipment, which minimizes risk for the seller, but demands a great deal of trust and sufficient working capital from the buyer. Each of these methods balances risk and trust differently, making it essential to choose the right one based on the specific trade circumstances. Let's look at a practical FX and trade strategy for businesses by focusing on four key areas. First, matching currency exposure is crucial. Aligning your currency risks directly with your revenue streams helps minimize the impact of exchange rate fluctuations. Next, optimizing payment terms by carefully setting payment intervals allows you to strike a balance between maintaining healthy cash flow and taking advantage of favorable market timing. Third, staying updated on foreign exchange market conditions is essential. This means continuously monitoring FX trends to make well-informed decisions about trading and hedging. Finally, coordinating across teams is vital for consistent execution. Ensuring that treasury, sales, and procurement collaborate closely helps align efforts and achieve better overall results. Together, these strategies form a comprehensive approach to managing foreign exchange risks effectively in your business.